pack those bags and get back at it with another travel size segment, the 52 segment here. This time we're going to head down to, we're not heading anywhere, we're just going to kind of talk about Gene, old Gene Wilder. We just saw the documentary on Netflix, and it was, I wanted to do this little segment earlier, like after we watched the Netflix special, but that wasn't going to happen. It was a brutal. If you're a big fan of Gene Wilder, if you love Gene Wilder like I did as a kid, and as me and Jennifer did growing up, it's a big part of my life. Watching his movies. So it was tough to watch because he was a big, like I said, he was a huge part of my childhood. So that Netflix series was just, it was gut wrenching. And like I said, I knew he passed away. I knew all that, but just the story, he got to tell the story. It was him telling the story, right? It was him speaking, and I think it's his story from his point of view and whatnot. And if I didn't like him enough already, uh, I liked him even more because I found out he did oil paintings, and his oil paintings were really good. They were actually really good. So anyway, Gene Wilder, from who knew he's from Milwaukee? That much talent in Milwaukee. Who knew that? Or as they say, Milwaukee, right? Milwaukee. Yeah,
That's what Alice Cooper said.
Alice Cooper said that. Yeah, that's his words, not mine. But yeah, Gene Wilder got kicked off. He started his career on. Uh, he was on Broadway. There, he was the way it kicked off is like talking about how he started in Broadway. He did little Broadway plays, little plays. That's not getting into it. And then he met up with this one gal, and she was dating Mel Brooks. Yeah, he meets Mel Brooks. They become friends. They become tight. And then Mel Brooks is also at this time. Mel Brooks is getting ready to do the Producers on Broadway. The Producers, and it was also called AKA Springtime for Hitler, which was, I like that title better. It's more fun. It's more playful. But Mel Brooks is a comedy genius. But anyway, so he was casting for the Producers, and Gene fit that role, which was Leo Brown. Leo Bloom, sorry, Leo Bloom. He fit that role because he was like very cowardice, very shy, and it fit him so well. So he put him in the thing, and he put him in that play there, and he did well. And then the guy that was funding the play offered Mel Brooks 10 grand not to use Gene Wilder because he said Gene didn't have it. He didn't have a leading quality feel to him, and Mel Brooks was like, okay, sure. But then he ended up using Gene anyway. He went against him and did it anyway, and of course it worked out because Gene is Gene, and he was just amazing at what he did. So they did that. He did the Producers that went through. Then he started getting little things here and there. The next thing he got into was Bonnie and Clyde. He had a little small eyes role in Bonnie and Clyde. Filmed in Texas, which was cool. That somewhere Gene was walking around in Texas somewhere. But yeah, his he did that. It was a small role. Did that. He had like I said, Mel Brooks said he had something special. So he they stayed in contact. They kept working. They kept in touch. And then uh, Gene got drafted to the military, to the army. He got drafted to the military, and he was working in the, I guess you would say, the mental ward in the hospitals. And he goes, when I was working there, I studied the patients and whatnot. And he goes, and I stored, not to be gross, he goes, but I stored it away for future roles or whatever, to get in the emotions and whatnot. So that's what he did. And he was, man, he's just, he did that. He was, like I said, he just blew me away the way he is. He's just the person he is. He's just a sweet person. Like I said, you couldn't imagine him yelling at anybody. I couldn't, but he was just the sweetest person.
Only Charlie Bucket.
Yeah, and I was going to get to. I'm getting to there. That's one thing I was going to say. So that's what happened. So speaking of Charlie Bucket, after the draft was after the army thing, he was over. Then Willy Wonka came along. And falls into Gene's lap there. So he gets into the Wonka movie, and he's excited about it. A big movie for him. And he said, one of the things he said, that he read it. He goes, and there's a scene where he comes out. Now you probably see it. It's all over social media. Where he comes out, he talks about it, where he comes out and he's like, "I'm Willy Wonka, and I'm coming out of the factory for the first time, meeting the kids at the gate." And he goes, "I come out, and they wanted me to be, just come out, regular to the kids." He goes, "But I wanted to do something different with the cane, so I came with the cane, and I wanted to do where I threw everybody off, and I tumbled with the cane, get stuck in the ground, tumble." He goes, and that was, nobody knew I was going to do that, so that was right off the cuff. Again, huge ad libber. He did a lot of ad libbing. When they go into the chocolate factory for the first time, all that was, everybody, all the actors, everybody, was the first time to see it. So they all took it in at once. It was a huge set, and nobody had seen it. So we're going into it. So ad libbing. He go down the stairs, and he would go down 2 stairs, come back up. That was his thing. That was his thing, to ad lib and do all those little nice touches that he does. It was that one. And there was another one he did about the boat, the scene on the boat where he was doing the creepy thing on the boat and the creepy speech. Like that was him just kind of going off the cuff, and that's why you see all the other actors on the boat were just like, you know, tripped out by him because that was just all ad lib and he was just doing. But that made the movie. You know, that's what made the movie.
Part was creepy.
That scene was, like I said, not even, you know, as a kid you're like, holy shit, this, gives you the chili, the willies there. But that scene and the stairs were some of the things, the biggest scenes that I remember that stuck with me. That he was just very uh, candid for him. It was very, very him, very Gene. So he did that. Charlie and Chocolate Factory, or the was it Charlie and Chocolate Factory? Right? It was
Yeah.
a Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory. It was a bust. It didn't work. Oh, and the ad libbing. Back to the ad libbing. Sorry, we had one more. The ad libbing, and I'm sure everybody's probably seen it or read about it, where he gives it to Grandpa Joe and them. When he gives it to him, that's all off the cuff. That's all off the cuff because he's supposed to say it in a stern way, but the way he did it, like he screamed at him, and I forgot, was it Mel Brooks that said it? I think Mel Brooks said it, where he said that Gene has a lot of like he had a lot of rage. Like oh, that's what it was. The reason why he had all the suppressed rage, or he had that those where he could get into those things, was growing up. His mom was real sick, and the doctors told him that you can't make your mom upset, so you can never make her. So you can never, don't do anything bad. Be a good boy all the time. So that stuck with him, and that kind of got ingrained in him, and it kind of ruined him. Not ruined him, but mentally, because he would when he would, but he used that and would use that power or use that all that rage he'd had to suppress. He'd throw it out there, and that was one of the scenes. The Grandpa Joe where he tells him you get nothing.
They deserved that.
They did.
They didn't follow any of the rules. They're like, I'm sorry, but Charlie did not deserve chocolate.
They were bastards. They
didn't follow the rules.
The fizzy lifting drink, man. They ruined the ceiling. They're pieces of shit. Grandpa Joe being but Grandpa Joe's a piece of shit. We all know that with his track record. So him stealing fizzy lifting drink, not surprised, man. With the way he's a scammer and fucking in bed all the time, bullshit. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, so it didn't. Willy Wonka was a flop. It was a flop, and he did it. He didn't. Then he kind of got away from that. He said I wanted to do the more serious role, so he got into a role where he did a horrible movie with what's his name, Woody Allen, and it was about him in love with a sheep, and it was very, very off the beaten path. But he did that. He just did it. He was just trying different things, and then
that's different.
Yeah, very different. And then Mel Brooks came back along again, and then they started doing Blazing Saddles. And for Blazing Saddles, he didn't. Gene wasn't his first pick as the Waco Kid. He wasn't his first pick. I think they were gonna go with I think, did they say John Wayne? John Wayne said no.
Yeah.
He said no. And then there was another guy. There was back in the day, was a big cowboy guy, cowboy figure, and he was drunk all the time. This kid, who this actor was always drunk, and so they tried him on the scene. And Mel Brooks said, "We tried this guy on the scene on this particular scene where he's in the holding cell, and he wakes up, and the guy actually throws up because he was actually drunk." So they had to go dry out. So they couldn't use him. So I think it was like a week before they were gonna start filming. Mel Brooks goes to Gene. He tells Gene, he goes, "Hey man," he goes, "I need you." He goes, "I need you for this role. I think you could make this work." And Gene was doing something overseas. He was gonna go overseas or something. And he came. He's like, "You know what? I'll stay and I'll do this." So he got the role of the Waco Kid, and I think it was a no brainer. It was just a smart move as usual. Those guys were meant to be with each other. Mel Brooks and Gene. Those guys were meant to be a team, and they were a beautiful team. Gene killed the role. There was scenes where he would ad lib, and he did a thing, and very subtle, and like the crew would just laugh because it was just he wasn't trying to be a buffoon. He was just hit you with those little quick under the radar little lines, and he would kill you. But yeah, he did the Waco Kid. I love when he did that thing. Is like when he says, "This is the one I shoot with." He gets because he's drinking too much. He's alcoholic and whatnot. But Gene was great in that movie. That's an iconic movie. And then Mel Brooks said that doing that movie, I know he had a lot of the N word and all that. And I wasn't trying to glamorize this. I was just kind of reflecting what was going on in real life at the time. There was a lot of issues with black and white issue at the time. So he goes, I kind of did that and brought that into the movie to kind of put a different spin on it. And it was genius. It was a genius movie. One of my all time favorite movies of Gene Wilder's movies, and Mel Brooks, of course. Mel Brooks, you can't. There's nothing better than him. His comedy's just Amazing. Uh, so yeah, that was Willy Wonka. Blazing Saddles. Sorry, Blazing Saddles. And then Gene. After that, Gene wanted to do his own thing, kind of. So he started writing. He started writing all kinds of stuff, all kinds of plays and scripts and stuff. And then one day he grabs a legal pad, yellow legal pad, and he starts jotting down stuff. And then he starts making Young Frankenstein. And he wanted to write and direct that one. And at some point, at a certain point, there was a turning point. He wanted to bring Mel Brooks in to get Mel Brooks is get his kind of collab on this thing. So Mel decided he was going to direct it, and then Gene goes, "You can direct, but you're not going to be in the movie because you're always in the movies." He goes, "You're not going to be in this one." He goes, they were bullshit with each other." He goes, "You're not going to be in this one." So they did the Young Frankenstein, and Mel Brooks said, to pay homage to the original in 1931, let's do it in black and white. And the what you call it, I think who was it? Whenever I'm not sure who it was. It was the studio, and they were like, "No, no way, we're not doing it in black and white." He's like, "Well, we're gonna do it in black and white." So they went with somebody else, and they did it. They did it in black and white. And again, that one is just that. If you know Young Frankenstein, there's all kinds of one-liners in there. What hump? It's the guy, the guy. I always forget his name. The guy with the crazy eyes. I forget his name, but that dude is just gold. Just alone, just his eyes alone could make a movie under by themselves. But yes, they did that one. A lot of stars in that one too. Ray Romano's dad was in there. Frank from Everybody Loves Raymond. Peter Boyle. He did a fantastic The Monster. Uh, One thing that Gene said that they wanted to do to kind of just be playful, so it's not so just fun. They wanted to put it on the Ritz, and Mel Brooks is like, "Man, I don't know, that'll kind of make it goofball, like kind of ruin what you got going on." And Gene's like, "Well, I'm gonna do it." And then they had a meeting, and then Mel Brooks asked him, "Well, I don't want to do this scene, but explain to me why you want to." He goes, "I want to do it, and we're gonna do it." He goes, Mel Brooks is like, "Yeah, it's in the movie." He goes, "Well, why'd you give up so quick?" It was because you were that set to do it, to wanting to do it. So I saw your passion for it. You're in your face. So he goes, "So we're gonna put it in there." So that putting on the Ritz part, hilarious,
Yeah, I
man.
think one of the best
It's
scenes
the
of the
best
whole
scenes, man, because
movie.
it's just like Peter Boyle killed it, man. Like it's funny as shit.
His singing.
Oh yeah, it was the thing, and they were filming that. That's when this part came up about the rage. Mel Brooks tells him when they're filming, he goes, because we had a chemistry, me and Gene, and if I saw Gene wasn't there, he would tell Gene, I need you to go, I need you to be up to like 5 or 6.
Mhm.
And Gene would kick it in, man, especially when he's at the top with the lightning bolts. He's like, it's alive, he kicked it into another level. But they had that chemistry where he didn't take offense. He goes, Mel Brooks, I could tell him that. And, most actors get offended. He goes, and he wouldn't. He'd be like, okay, cool. I need to bump up my energy. So he did. And like I said, but that's why they were a perfect, perfect team, man. They were a
Or
perfect team.
like now you have Tim Burton and Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Like,
Giant, the
there's people
duo.
that just work well
Yeah.
together.
And I love that, man. They have that chemistry. And they make so many damn movies. It's insane. That were just blow me away. So yeah, Gene did that. He did that. That went over, and then time went on, and uh, Gene wanted to. It was going just entering out, doing all kinds of stuff. All kinds of movies were hitting his way, and then of course he started working with another great, which is one of my favorites, is Richard Pryor. They started working together. They did their favorite duo. I like the Hear No Evil, See No Evil movies. That was okay, but I didn't really find those. I didn't find those too funny. I just didn't find them that entertaining. And at that time, the Hear No Evil, See No Evil, Richard Pryor had his MS, right? He had MS, and he was kind of going down. And they spoke to his daughter, Richard Pryor's daughter, in the documentary, and she says, yeah, in some of the scenes you can't tell, but we know where they're going up the stairs, and you can tell that Richard can't go up the stairs, and he's like having a hard time going up the stairs, and Gene, like, he makes it look like it's a part of the movie, but he's actually helping him, like a friend would help. It was just gentle. She goes, and only we could see that, and she goes, that was a part of Gene that was, he was beautiful about that. He's a beautiful person. Um, so yeah, they worked together for a while. Him and Richard, they did a couple things together. But like what I was gonna say, Stir Crazy was one of my favorite movies they did. Stir Crazy was funny. They robbed a bank. They didn't rob a bank, and but they got accused of robbing a bank. They went to jail. They busted out. Just a great movie where they go to the jail. The favorite thing that the favorite quote from that movie. It's not even neither Gene or Richard's quote. It's this big black dude in there, big black dude with a cowboy hat and buff as shit, and he tells I don't know what happened. Richard, somebody hits him, and then the big guy tells Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, goes, "You could kiss the baby," and that line is just nobody knows what the fuck it means, but it was a perfect line. It was great. You can kiss the baby. I love that line.
Is it like kiss my ass?
No,
or
he said you can kiss the baby
or-
like I don't know, kind of like you know, just a pass, I guess, or you can. It's just like you're good, I guess. Kind of, you can kiss the baby. I don't know. I just love that line, and it was just funny because it came out of a big ass dude, and like I said, I'll put the little clip in there. You can see the guy, huge guy. Um, but yeah, they had a great chemistry too. They worked well together too as well. Uh, the other thing was Gene touched on it, but I like the respect that Gene had for Richard Pryor. He had a big respect for him. He talked about um, Richard having an issue with substances and stuff. He goes, he was late to because they asked him. He goes, yeah, sometimes he was late to the set. He goes, but that was none of my affair. When we were on set, we had the best chemistry. And then they cut to his daughter, and his daughter's like, yeah, when he goes, you couldn't tell, but when they were off set, it's like they didn't even know each other. Like they'd go different ways, and they didn't even speak to each other. But as soon as that camera was rolling, it's like they had never missed a beat. They had been friends forever. He goes, but she goes, it's just weird how they didn't have chemistry off camera because they were just two different lifestyles. And I get it. I totally get it. It's two different people.
Yeah.
But shit, when they're on camera, man, that comedy's funny as shit, man. Like I said, they have the Stir Crazy. If you haven't seen Stir Crazy, see that one. Go check that out now. It's from 1980. One of my favorite movies as well. So Gene, after that, life keeps going for him, and meets his love of his life was Gilda Radner from Saturday Night Live. They meet, they start dating, and they marry each other, and they have their life going. And she gets cancer, and she passes away. But he was just a solid guy, man. Like he was the sweetest guy to the end, to her into her life. He was the best. And she passes away, and then back to that Hear No Evil, See No Evil. They actually took classes to be blind and deaf. They took the classes to actually know what it feels like to be blind and deaf, so they could be authentic. And the Gene was the deaf one, so he had to do lip to read lips. And to do that, he met this lady, and she at a deaf school or deaf university, something, deaf school for university of some sort. And they hit it off, and they became friends, and they stayed in contact. And then as years went on, after Gilda had passed away, long after they got back together and became friends, and they got married, and then they stayed together to the end. And what was it? Let me see. They got married in '91, and then they stayed together. And Gene kept. That's when he started doing his watercolors and whatnot, and becoming an artist. He wasn't talented enough. He had to go do something else to be talented. It makes me sick, but he was awesome. And then he did towards the end of his career, he did a little guest spot on, if you remember, Will and Grace. He was just funny, man. He was still Gene. He was still himself, even though he was older. You could tell that he was kind of, he was off a beat a little bit, but he was still Gene Wilder. He was still great. He was still funny as shit. And was it not what's Will's name? I forget his name. Will from Will and Grace. Will. He had a moment with Gene. He
Eric
goes,
McCormick?
yeah, Eric McCormick. They had him. He goes, we had a moment, and it was just like the best cherry on top for my career of being, an actor. He goes to be able to do a scene with him was the best. But yeah, then as he got on to as he went on, and after that, he didn't do much after that because his wife said he started forgetting stuff, even for things that he would never usually forget. He would start forgetting, and it got worse and worse, and then he got diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia. So it was like, the double whammy, which is shitty, because especially somebody like him that has a great mind, that's a writer and genius and a wordsmith and all this stuff. It was a shame. But yeah, he passed away in August of 2016. And yeah, I mean, it's been a while, but for me, it's just the movies, man, keep me. I love his movies, man. Like I can watch Willy Wonka over and over again. I can watch anything he's got. I can watch it over and over again.
I watch Young Frankenstein probably once a week.
Yeah, that's always gonna be on because it's just he's just something else. And like, the thing is about him, he had that look, and people would say, oh man, from the outside looking in, people are like, oh, that guy's ugly,
Oh my God, no.
And this is the thing now, right? It's like just like you said, the guy from The Bear, they have that thing. I don't know. Like, you said he was supposed to be Willy?
They wanted him to be Willy Wonka, but I
Mhm.
think he was doing the Iron Claw at the time, so he
So
couldn't.
conflict, yeah.
So we ended up with what we ended up with. I'm
Charlemagne the God,
I'm
yeah,
gonna be nice, but
yeah, and
it was a
he's fine.
travesty. It was a travesty.
He's fine, but I think the guy from the Bear. I always forget his name too. I'm terrible.
Jeremy
with names.
Allen White.
Yes, from the Bear. He would. By the way, the season of the Bear, not happy.
Yikes.
Not happy. I'm gonna leave it at that, and you guys can look at it for yourself. The Bear, not good this year, and I love that show. I said the first season, I was captivated. I would watch it. I watched the season first season twice, and the second season, it was okay. This one is just not for me. It wasn't for me this year. Hopefully next season, the fourth season will be better. I'm not too happy with it, but I still enjoy it. Like I said, because I like that. I like that actor. He's great. I love his. He's got a character face, and I love it, man. And now what do they call him? Rodent,
It's rodent. I don't
hot
know.
I forget rodent hot. I forget what they
the
call
thing
him.
is.
It's him, and I forget who else is that other guy too.
Adam Driver.
Adam Driver.
One. It's so mean.
Yeah, rodent hot.
And then
Yeah.
the one from Saltburn.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, those guys are. They got a unique look, but hey, it works. Anyway, man, I was trying to get through it without losing my shit because I love Gene, and it's a good documentary. What's it called? It's just I forget what it's the title. Remembering Gene Wilder. Yeah, I'm not good with remembering titles, but it's on Netflix right now. And if you're into Gene, you love Gene Wilder, and you want a decent cry, go for it, man. You'll get you a nice little cry out for your day.
It ruined my day.
It ruined our day because we were gonna record that night. We were gonna do that episode that night, but I couldn't do it. It was just too. It's sad, man, because he was one of my heroes on TV. It's just great actor, man. Great actor, great comedy, great movies. Yeah, so that's it. We're gonna wrap it up and check out Gene. Check out Gene on Netflix there, and stay tuned. Thank you.